on our city. This is costly and time-consuming to plan, design, bound, and maintain by your sewer, while blue roof is cheaper than the green roof. Moreover, blue roof will provide free pressurized water for washing, flushing, and irrigation. Meyer Bloomberg estimate, with blue roof, the city will save $2.4 billion over the use of green infrastructure. Blue roof are like clouds above our home, because they release water just like clouds. I have just described the economic impact of blue roof on our city. Now, let's turn our attention to the environmental impact of blue roof on our city. The New York City Department of Environmental Protection, they introduced a pilot program in which they demonstrate how rooftop can reduce the frequency and the volume of rainwater in our sewer system. This approach is the perfect solution to reduce rainwater storm in our sewer system. Environmental objectives such as reducing energy is met by cooling down buildings. This technology also can improve air quality by filtering and removing pollutants from vehicles and industrial waste. Blue roof use an environmentally friendly technology which help our ecosystems. I have just explained the environmental impact of blue roof on our city. Let's have a quick review. The purpose of my speech has been to inform you about the blue roof technology. I believe I accomplished this by describing the blue roof, and it is the collection of rainwater and the slow release into a sewer system. I have also spoken about the economic impact of blue roof. Blue roof eliminates costly, large storm water infrastructure and save billions of dollars to the city. Finally, I inform you about the environmental impact of blue roof. And we know that by now that blue roof use environmental friendly technology. In conclusion, Blue Roof are valuable new solution to the economic and environmental problem that our city faces in regard to storm water management. We must use them to the full extent of their capacity. Let me say once again that a New York City department document said that Blue Roof are our last frontier. I hope you agree. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Umar, for informing us about Blue Roof technology. Now, I'd like to welcome a speaker in the persuasive category. I'll spell her name for the judges, but her name is, this is not the grand introduction. This is just for the benefit of judges. Fatima, Fathima. Muramil, Murammil. Fatima Muramil. So let's give her a grand welcome at this time.
Good afternoon. Imagine yourself standing in a long checkout line and you hear a child crying and screaming their guts out, and the parent pulls out a cell phone and hands it to the child to restore peace. I strongly believe parents need to rethink the age in which children should be introduced to electronic devices. I have been observing the behavior of a younger cousin who plays on cell phones and tablets against another cousin who is not allowed to use electronic devices. The difference is a wake-up call to parents, future parents, grandparents, and older siblings. Now I understand that communication technology is a part of our social landscape and that we will continue to introduce them into every aspect of our lives. I'm pretty sure each and every one of you have previously been in a situation where you have spent hours on your cell phone, whether it's being active on social media, playing games, or texting. In the next few minutes, I will explain why young children should not play with electronic devices and provide ways to set boundaries for age-appropriate children. Electronic devices have a negative effects on a young child's physical and cognitive development. The first effect is vision. Children from a very young age are struggling with having to wear glasses. According to Dr. Sykes, the chairman of North Carolina State Optometric Society, most people are now suffering from digital eye strain. According to a 2016 digital eye strain report, it is defined as a combination of factors including the proximity at which we view digital screens, the frequency and length of time of this use, and physical responses to screen habits. It is characterized by dry, irritated eyes, and blurred vision. The second effect is neck and back pain. According to Gwinnett Medical Center, the use of electronic devices are linked to an increase of neck and back pain. Repeatedly looking down at smartphones or other electronic devices often results in poor posture and pain. However, it is most common amongst those aged between 18 to 24. The third effect is obesity. For these specific children, they develop eating disorders. According to an article called Media and Risky Behaviors, authors Escobar and Anderson wrote about the direct link between electronics and obesity. They mention that due to media exposure, metabolic rates and physical activity decreases and caloric intake increases. The last effect is addiction. Children's minds aren't developed enough to understand addiction. According to Kalyan Petrucci, nutrition expert and physician, these young addicts include 3-year-olds who scream when they can't have their tablets, middle schoolers whose grades nosedive because they can't quit texting or posting on Facebook, and high schoolers who compulsively play online games. A professor of mine, who is the mother of a 6-year-old boy, said, "My son had monumental tantrums when we told him to get off the iPad and take a bath." Petrucci also said that for some kids, playing with electronic devices isn't just a part of life. It's the only thing in life. Now that I've spoken about the subject of the matter, I will now present some propositions one can take to reduce the risks surrounding electronics. A few of these propositions include: A, for parents who want to give their children learning games, set time limits. Explain why they cannot stay on the device for long periods of hours. Learning is one thing and playing games is another. Additionally, parents should also keep an eye on their child's posture, as hunching over can cause pain and headaches. B, children need more hands-on activities to keep them occupied. Create sensory activities, play board games, make time for play dates, etc. These will not only stimulate brain activity, but also allow personal bonding amongst children. Moreover, it will help them create memories that will last a lifetime. And lastly, in this day and age, parents wonder at what age a child should own an electronic device. According to a research firm, the average age was 10. But since 2012, the average age is now 12. This information can be helpful for parents and future parents before handing their children electronic devices too early in their lives. I've just informed you about a few propositions. I will now explain my intention for the future. The following is what I envision for the future. If the propositions I mentioned previously were to be adopted, children will have a better outlook on their lives. We can look forward for a future filled with healthier and happier children, and what more can we ask besides that? As a young adult, I know it's difficult to get off the electronics that we own, but it's up to us to take action and keep ourselves and our families safe from such risk. I strongly believe parents need to rethink the age in which children should be introduced to electronic devices. First, I spoke about the subject of the matter. Second, I presented some propositions. And finally, I explained my intention for the future. So I urge parents to stop handing their children electronic devices without fully understanding the consequences they'll have to face sooner or later. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima. I do apologize for that misspelling. Her last name is Ozama. So it's with a Z, as you can see. And now I'd like to introduce a speaker in the informative category. And I'd like for you to help me welcome with a big round of applause, Jennifer Humala. Jennifer has to sign in, so I'm going to do my stand-up routine. How about that? Maybe this is a good time to acknowledge the legacy that Professor Zhengzhu and I have inherited from two professors who have been running this contest for many years. First, I'd like to acknowledge Denise Scannell, who has been running the contest. Let's give her a round of applause. And I'd also like to acknowledge Shauna Vade for her. Let's give Jennifer Himala another round of applause.
Okay, so you can take a moment and close your eyes and just take a listen to your surroundings. I'm sure you'll be able to hear the sound from the projector, the sound from outside in the hallways, and possibly the person next to you shuffling about. Now, in our culture, media is a big part of it. Whether we watch videos online or on TV, there is always visual content available to us. And as a freelancer in sound editing and mixing, I have various experience on sets where I know how that process works. So today, I would like to talk to you about 3 points. Who a sound mixer is, what skills they should have, and why it's very important to record clean and clear sound. Now, a sound mixer is a person who is responsible for their crew. Whether it be a low budget or high budget set, they can have multiple of the same person. And the small crew consists of a boom operator and the sound mixer. As you can see here, this is a sound mixer. And the boom operator is a person holding a mic attached to a pole above an actor's head. Whereas the sound assistant is a person assisting these people around in any way possible. Now when I started, it can be highly difficult to manage all on your own. So you'll probably be like a one-man band. So what I had to do was be a sound mixer to myself, a boom operator to myself, and a sound assistant to myself. So sometimes it's not the best idea, but it's not impossible. For my second point, I'll let you know what type of skills they should have. They should have knowledge. You can't just assume you're going to walk on set and turn on a button and make it work. You need to know what type of equipment you're using, whether it be something from the past, something that you know now, or something that hasn't come out yet. You need to know what's going to happen. So if you don't know what you're using, you may delay time with the director or the actors, and sometimes that's not the nice thing. So from technical production crew, they state that they don't just position a boom in a willy-nilly fashion, and the precise movements are planned meticulously. So, which brings me to my second major skill is communication. They need to know where everyone is going to be placed, where the mics are going to be placed, because there are little bits and pieces. So they should know where that is going to be placed and where them themselves are going to be placed too. Finally, I would like to say why it is very important to record clean and clear sound. Now, the everyday user may not worry about the sound that's coming from the video themselves, because you could have a very good quality video and have the bad sound. You're most likely to turn it off and walk away from it. But if you're watching a bad quality video, you're not that focused on the content that's coming from there. But you're able to hear what's happening, and you know the content is being said to you. As Sound for Film says, your aim should be to give the viewer a good listening and viewing experience. So you shouldn't take away from the content that's happening. I'm not sure if you're all familiar. I'm not sure if you're all familiar, but of an animated film called Hugo, and sound mixer for that film was called John Migley. And he has mentioned before that in this particular scene, there have been clocks ticking, and they're all multiple seconds, and there's steam effects from the machines. So it was a very high difficulty job. And not only that, you have to be able to listen what the actor is saying, keep away from the background noise, and as well follow the actors around while not being caught on camera. So even though it's a very highly and exhausting job, the main point, and it always will be, to capture good sound. So I hope today that you have learned a little bit of who a sound mixer is, what they're responsible for, what type of skills they should have, and why it is very important for them and me as well to capture good and clean sound. So I hope that also you could take a moment of your lives, sit back down and relax, and take a moment to listen what's in your surrounding. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. I don't need a microphone. One thing that speakers should keep in mind is that when you are standing here, they're projecting on me. Am I right? So I guess I should have said something about that earlier. But if you want to not be in the way of the projector, this is a good side to do it. to give a grand introduction and introduce our next speaker, Michael Barkigan. Let's give him a hand.
Hello, my name is Michael Dominic Barkigan, and I'm presenting my speech titled Fake News Goes Viral. Something that's topic, The kairos for this topic is now. By a show of hands, how many people in the audience use Facebook? Congratulations. You have access to a propaganda tool enabling you to spread information faster than Hitler or Stalin could have dreamed. The most popular social media platform in the world, Facebook, has become a global agent for the democratization of information. The ease of disseminating information via the internet has given birth to a concerning amount of echo chambers, in which persons give fake stories credibility simply by resharing, commenting on, and liking them. The impotence of democracy is the uneducated citizen. People lacking the tools to identify fake news spread it. The effect is cyclical. According to journalism.org's Pew Research Center, at least 62% of all U.S. adults get at least some of their news from social media. Among millennials, Facebook is far and away the most common source for news about government and politics. 17 points higher than CNN at 44%, and 24 points higher than local TV at 37%. Unlike with CNN, there is zero official accountability for the content posted to Facebook. Facebook users are vulnerable to manipulation because they are burdened with the responsibility of curating information. The 2016 election ignited a heated debate over whether social media sites like Facebook should play a role in censoring fake news articles. It is not strictly my opinion that outright censorship of fake news articles would be antithetical to Facebook's role as an open platform for information. This misinformation epidemic, however, cannot be left unchecked. Fictitious news stories shared on Facebook influence the opinions of their readers. Therefore, social media platforms must attach a credibility rating to every news article posted and a warning heading all fake news articles. Reuters recently released an algorithm called Reuters News Tracer, designed to detect and verify breaking news on Twitter in real time. It is imperative that Facebook focus its research and development, on which it spends over $1 billion per year, towards creating an algorithm designed to apply the suggested changes to all of its content. How widespread of a problem is fake news? Really? Craig Silverman, founding editor of BuzzFeed News, conducted a study that concluded fake news outperformed real news on Facebook from August 2016 through the end of the election cycle in November. Silverman's accompanying article states that the 20 top performing false election stories from hoax sites and hyper-partisan blogs generated 8,711,000 shares, comments, and reactions on Facebook. Within the same time period, the 20 best performing election stories from major news websites only generated a total of 7,367,000 shares, reactions, and comments on Facebook. Can we perhaps ascertain a commonality other than just high revenue from this plethora of misinformation? Is the ad dollar generated from clicks the only reason for websites purporting fake news to exist? Fake news is overwhelmingly partisan. Mark Hatchman, senior editor of PC World, set out to find just how much so. Mr. Hatchman created 2 Facebook accounts using fresh Gmail addresses. Profile name Chris Smith for Hillary Clinton and profile name Todd White for Donald Trump. For Smith, Hatchman liked 3 people: Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and President Barack Obama. For White, Donald Trump, Mike Pence, and Newt Gingrich. Hatchman then sequentially liked the 1st, 4th, and 7th recommended pages that appeared for each of the accounts. Hillary Smith ended up with pages like Exposing Facts to the Misinformed Viewers of Fox News, Hillary Clinton, Democratic News, and Rude and Rotten Republicans. Trump's wife landed such gems as Hillary for prison, Trump train, and I hate hippies and their stupid light bulbs. Of the 41 posts recommended to Clinton Smith, 23 were slanted and none were fake. Whereas of the 129 posts recommended to Trump's wife, 79 were slanted and 10 were fake. According to Pew Research Center, 20% of social media users say they've modified their stance on a social or political issue because of material they saw on social media. Even if just a small fraction of the people who read fake news in the last 3 months voted for Hillary Clinton, the election could have bore a different outcome. Misinformation causes deterioration. It is paramount, not only to the survival of our democracy, but also to our immediate safety, that we resolve the issue of fake news. Fake news alleging that Hillary Clinton campaign manager, John Podesta, operated a child sex ring out of Comet Ping Pong in Washington recently led a man to enter the pizzeria pointing a rifle at one of the employees. An incident as such shows how strongly people can believe in fake news. Facebook needs to help its users distinguish between fact and fiction, opinion and illusion. A credibility score and a fake news warning heading an article will encourage people to question the veracity of what they have read. I stress, there is no overnight solution to the problem of fake news. Fake news is here to stay, and it is crucial that we as a society acknowledge it as the serious problem it is. I implore all of you to visit change.org and add your signature to Katrina Mitchie's petition asking Facebook to add warnings to fake news. Though a change such as the one I encourage, if successful, may stifle the spread of fake news to an extent, it will never come close to eradicating it. To truly overcome this crisis, America needs to appropriate more of its tax dollars into the fledgling public education system. Educating our country is in effect immunizing it from fake news. Now that we've democratized information, let's democratize knowledge. It's fake.
Thank you, Michael. And now, folks, we have another speaker in the informative category. And just for your information, is Vernon Cyrus here? There's a couple students that are at class, and they're hoping to make it back before the end of the contest, but they might not be able. So, we're going to introduce at this time an informative speaker. Let's give a big hand and welcome Ricky James.
Good afternoon. I'm here to speak on climate change. Drought has an effect on global warming. Global warming has an effect on climate change. If climate change becomes too severe, humans will be obliterated from the face of the earth. According to the National Climate Data Center for Environmental Information, planet has become warmer since recording measured. In the winter of 1960 in New York City, drought was associated with low pressure. When you have low pressure, it does not rain. The low pressure continues to this very day. There are different types of droughts and causes of climate change. For example, Mr. Kushner, an environmental scientist from Columbia University, conducted a study. These are his results. The meteorological drought happens when a piece of land or region is subject to a prolonged period of no rain. Hydrological drought is created by low levels of water in lakes and reservoirs due to excessive warm weather. Sociological drought is due to the effects of pollution. Pollution generates water shortage in drinking water and running water. Although droughts are a natural phenomenon, the increased population and the use of natural resources has caused the earth to flex its muscles. One result is drought, and drought helps create global warming. Now that we know about the different types of drought, let us now examine the effects on drought. From the destruction of fish and wildlife habitats has the effect of annihilating fish and wildlife. There are 492 major droughts worldwide every day, but wild animals are not the only ones affected by drought. The average amount of humans killed per year by drought is into 20,000. Let us have a quick review. Number one, drought conditions are already here. Don't forget that when you have low pressure, it does not rain. Number two, there is nothing we can do about the weather, but we can change the way we deal with the agriculture, water preservation, and pollution. Number three, finally, we need to conserve our resources because animals are not the only ones affected by drought, we are as well. In conclusion,